Story 1.
My husband was overweight when we got together, and I had accepted that and committed to him regardless. The attraction I had for him was always less physical and more about being drawn to who he was and how compatible we are as partners. But once he got past a certain weight, it became more difficult to ignore. Crappy eating habits, no exercise, and a family history of diabetes started to worry me. I expressed my concerns for his health, gently, over a period of years. I never wanted to hurt him by bringing up the sexual aspect of it. Recently, I decided it was time to be completely honest. I had reached my tipping point, I guess. I still dreaded hurting him. But aren't I worth a little effort? I wasn't asking that he become Captain America overnight. I just wanted him to try a little. I was so afraid of this conversation. I knew it was going to result in hurt feelings and become a point of contention for us forevermore. He was patient as I explained through tears how difficult things had become. And then he cried too. But not because his feelings were hurt that I wasn't attracted to him. He said he was most upset because I had held this in for so long and hadn't come to him with it. Wasn't he my best friend? Isn't our marriage about being completely transparent with each other? How awful for me that I'd had to go through this alone. His response blew me away and humbled me. I'm ashamed now of what little faith I had in my man. Next day, my incredible husband joined a gym. He's lost 25 pounds. For me, and he said how happy he is to be doing something that makes me feel so loved. I can't believe how lucky I am. I know that conversation could have gone so differently. And I know his weight will likely always be a struggle for him. But I realize it's not the pounds he's losing that are making me so attracted to him again, it's the mere effort he's putting in that's making the difference. I want to just emphasize the last sentence in my post. The thing I would want married people to take away from this is that we should all be putting in effort for each other. I don't expect or demand my husband become some svelte bodybuilder. Compassion will remain a focal point in our relationship. My husband humbled me by not dwelling on hurt feelings that he would have had every right to, but rather that I was going through something he could help with. I do of course hope this will be a change in lifestyle, for health reasons, but I'm going to focus on the love and pride I feel for his reaction here at the start.
My opinion. Your husband is definitely an absolutely fantastic man. Not just because of taking the criticism stoically, but for actually hearing what message you try to bring to him, understanding your care for him, starting to do something to change deserves all the best words. Thank you for that story. I wish to have partners like your husband to everybody. What are your thoughts about this story? Let me know in the comment box below. Story 2.
I married my wife 4.5 years ago and I noticed an almost instantaneous change in her physical and eating habits after marrying her. When I married her, she had a healthy body, very beautiful. She was 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighed 112 pounds, and now she weighs around 145 pounds. Before I married her, she used to go running for about 45 minutes every day and had a healthy diet. But literally from the day we came back from our honeymoon, stopped doing both of these. She no longer runs and tells others about how much she hates exercising. She regularly mentions her love of food, to her friends and our family, and buys and cooks tons of fatty foods. It's like she stopped caring about how she looks now that she is married. I find that somewhat unfair. If anything, she should care more about staying attractive, to make her husband happy. Please note, it's not just her physically appearance that bothers me, it's also all the long-term health problems related to obesity. My wife's genetics are probably not linked to her obesity. All her immediate family members are not overweight. She has 2 sisters and 1 brother. She's not pregnant, nor have we had any kids. I have indirectly, trying to play it safe, confronted her about eating and exercising habits. I have not even once said to her that she is fat. A couple weeks ago I showed her this article that was talking about eliminating junk foods from one's diet, and she herself suggested that we remove 90% of the junk food in our house. So, the next day I began throwing food out, and she freaked out, yelling at me that she loved the food I was throwing out. She came back the next day with all the food I had thrown out. When I asked her about it, she yelled at me and called me controlling. It almost seemed as though she was eating the food in revenge. Keep in mind, the food I threw away were cookies, potato chips, and other foods of this merit. Nothing that anyone with a right mind could ever call healthy. She told me the day before clearly she was fine with this too. I have also suggested that we go walking or running together, and in response, she will either say she's tired and would rather just watch TV or go with a walk with me, and after about a mile sit down at bench, defeating the whole purpose. I have heard her complain about her weight to friends. She refers herself a fat and makes self-deprecating jokes about herself when she's around them. When they suggest diet and exercise, she tells them jokingly that she loves food and does not have the willpower to exercise. She also states that she's older and married now, so it does not matter as much, she's only 30. If she's around them and is offered unhealthy food, she'll sometimes says, "I'm already fat, so why does it matter?" and take a bite of it. When she gets really mad at me, she'll sometimes say that I don't love her because she's fat, or that I don't care about her because she's fat. I immediately disagree, but it doesn't matter. If you're wondering if I'm being a hypocrite, I'm not. I am very health conscious. I rarely drink soda or eat junk food. I exercise 3 times a week at the gym. I'm 5 feet 9 and I weigh 143 pounds. If you're wondering why I do this, it's because I honestly believe that it's my responsibility to be healthy and be physically attractive for my wife Sake. I don't do it to attract other women. I have never had an affair in my 4.5-year marriage. Though lately, due to my wife's image, I've been feeling a greater deal of attraction to women with skinnier, healthier bodies, something that was barely an issue when my wife was not overweight. Finally, I'd like to say that I do love my wife. She is my best friend and great company. But because of her weight, I am no longer physically attracted to her. We only have sex maybe once every 3 months, because I find her fat unappealing. Due to a lack of sex in her image, I have been feeling more attracted to other women, and this is making me personally feel guilty. I am even considering divorce if her situation becomes so bad that I can't find her physically attractive at all. I know this is somewhat selfish, but I feel like it's an internal desire beyond my control. Some of you guys are going to think I'm a bad person, but I think others will understand what I'm coming from. I disagree with you guys who claim that my wife is not at an unhealthy weight. She has a small body frame and most of her family is significantly less heavy than she is, so it's probably not genetic. She may not be that obese when compared to the typical American, but the typical American is significantly overweight. It's a huge change going from 112 pounds to 143 pounds. It would not have so much an effect if there wasn't so much a difference from the beginning. I've decided that I'm going to start cooking dinner, and even lunch when I can, as often as possible, to keep our meals healthy. I'm going to start inviting my wife with me to the gym. I didn't do this previously because I spent all my time there with free weights, but doing cardio will do me and wife some good. I don't think there is a mental strain on my wife causing her to behave in this way, but I'll ask her if there is something bothering her. I'll even suggest going to counseling if she's really being bothered by something but won't tell me straight up. I'll try to tell her in the nicest way possible that her lifestyle is bothering me and hurting our relationship. For about the first 2 years of marriage, my wife and I pretty much had sex daily, often even more than once. I'll tell her I missed the days when I felt like she was the sweetest and sexiest woman alive, and I wanted to F her brains out. I obviously won't straight up tell her, but it will kindly be implied through my statements. Hopefully things will work out because I honestly don't want my marriage to break up. Apart from this, being married to my wife is pretty much the greatest thing that's happened to me.
My opinion. That story is the opposite of what we had in the first one. Probably, the good thing is to talk to her about your concerns. But given what you told us, everything is about restoring the healthy habits they had before. You may sit with her and start looking at the photos you made before she gained weight. Tell her how much you appreciate her back in a day. Remember how attractive you found her in that previous body. But anyway, listen to her. It is her body. Even if you try to improve it for good reason, for her health and your marriage, the final decision will always be on her. Sport and healthy lifestyle or habits, you should know it by yourself. When you start working out for a couple of weeks, your body will begin to tell you that you need to go for another training. Try to convince her to start and train for a while, and then, if she keeps up, it will be the victory. If not, that is her choice. We shall not blame her for this. You will have to take a look and then make your own decision. What do you think about these stories? Let me know in the comments below.